Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is Teams Global Hack Day 3 of Week 1. This is the virtual Global Hack where we learn and hack apps for Microsoft Teams.
Hi, everyone. It is so great to be here, and we're so excited to get started in our third session this week. We have a lot to share, so let's get started with a quick overview of the hackathon before we jump into our exciting speakers, and then we will leave you with amazing coding and learning experience. Okay, so overview of the hackathon. Waldek, would you like to walk us through what we are doing here?
Totally. We hack. What's in the name, right? So on June 1, we kicked off the virtual global hack where everybody builds apps for teams, right? We began then with a keynote. We had exciting talks, right? Where we learn all about tabs and bots. And today we will learn about more new things that you can build on Teams. So that is really cool. If you haven't had a chance to join them live, don't worry. All of these talks are available for you to watch whenever you want. So one, we have a repo online where you can join us to ask questions, share your progress, or ask for help, or just share like, hey, I'm working on this cool thing. Perfectly fine. Most important thing, submit your hack by June 15, midnight PST if you want to win a prize. And we have some really cool things to give away to all of you. So definitely take part. You have nothing to lose. You can only win.
Awesome. So let's remember a couple of things Waldeck shared with us. First, register if you want to earn prizes or if you just want to earn the digital badge, it's all fine, but let's make sure to register so you will be eligible for everything we provide you. Second, the GitHub repo is the place to be. You can find all the templates, samples, resources in our GitHub repo. And you can also ask your questions to the experts in the discussions. We are actually monitoring there all the time. We are answering questions, and our PMs from the product team are actually answering questions there. So don't forget to engage us, introduce yourself, ask your questions, share your project idea. We're excited to hear from you. And finally, the prizes, the most exciting part of the hackathon.
Exactly, right? So you can take part in the hackathon by yourself or as a team, up to 4 folks, right? And the cool thing is, everybody on the winning team, again, up to 4 folks, will get a prize. And the cool thing is the grand prize is an Xbox. So everybody on the winning team will get Xbox plus a $300 digital gift card. No matter if, well, in a way, everybody is a winner. Because when you submit a hack, everybody gets a digital badge to basically show to the whole world, you've done this, you build an app for Teams, and it's really cool. And it's something new that you learn, and we recognize that with a digital badge. So in a way, the moment you submit a hack, you win already.
Exactly. Prizes are so exciting, but we also have to learn and code and engage with the technology we provide as well. We have full packed agenda today. We will talk about message extensions, and then we will talk about how we can how we can extend Teams apps across Microsoft 365. And we will also learn what is Graph and how we can leverage from Graph to make our apps more intelligent. We have full amazing speakers lined up for you. So let's get started with the first section. Let us welcome Tomomi and Sai to introduce you what are message extensions and how we can extend them across Microsoft 365. Hi, folks.
Hey.
Hey. Cool. Alrighty. So, all right, for the next 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes or so, we're gonna take over here and I'm gonna talk about the messaging extensions. And this is Tomomi. I'm a cloud advocate at Microsoft, and I'm working on developer experience in education. And oh yeah, so this is great because this is a global hackathon, and I live in the middle of the Pacific Ocean here in Hawaii. So yay, aloha. And Sai.
Hey, thanks, Tomomi. Hi, everyone. My name is Saidipti Kovuru. I'm a product manager on the Microsoft 365 platform team. I have both developer experience as well as product development experience. I'm based out of Seattle. You can reach out to me on GitHub. I'm sorry, I'm not on Twitter. Yeah, I'm excited for this session. It would be really interesting to see what you guys build on top of the message extensions. Yeah, Tomomi, take it away.
Alrighty. Cool. Oh, hold on. Uh, uh, uh. All right, so let me talk about a little bit about capability and features. So it's a quick recap. So this is what you said is a Teams app, but Teams app is actually a application. So a lot of features works on Teams and a Microsoft 365 app and Outlook as well. So if you have attended yesterday, actually past few days sessions, you probably have learned about tabs and bots and some other features maybe. And today we're going to focus on messaging extensions, which works for Teams and Outlook. And sorry, my cat is occasionally meowing. I think he wants to go outside. Sorry. He just meowed. And message extensions are a user triggered action. So a user, I mean the end user, including you, initiate an action directly from the Teams message or from the message compose area in Teams and Outlook. Actually, there are more. You're going to hear about this later. And there's seamless transition between native client UI. That means native client means Teams and Outlook, and your app. So everything looks just seamless, I just say. And the type of action, user initiated action, can be search and action slash task. I say do something and share links. So one of the examples can be this. So this is action directly from the Teams message. So click more actions, and this is do something. So encoding message to Morse code. This is not really useful, but this is just an example I'm giving to you. Yeah, we can watch this again. Okay. So yeah, so the messaging area, the one right here is the one I just showed to you. But besides that, you can have an action initiated from this command box. And another way to invoke the action is in a compose area right down there. And this is actually for Teams. And it works similarly on Outlook from the compose area. And you're going to see it later. So for you, the developer perspective, messaging extensions can be, you can connect your service or API directly to Teams and Outlook. So let's say if you're using API, this is kind of like a calling, like API GET, but with a Teams and Outlook UI. So a user can invoke this API call, something like this. It doesn't have to be an API for the particular case. I mean, there's some use scenarios, but I'm just saying. And it has a consistent UI means, you as a developer, you don't really have to worry about UI and UX because this is built into this, native client. I say native client, but I meant Teams and Outlook client. And you can also use something like adaptive cards to create display, it's the UI, but it's just a display of the result. And so this is JSON based. So it's not like you have to code in like HTML or anything. You don't need that. So it's easier. And for your business profit, if you publishing your app, especially, you can extend existing apps. So if you already have some standalone or mobile app or whatever, you can extend that to Microsoft 365. That means you can increase user engagement, because more people's gonna use your app on Teams and Outlook and all that too. And if you publish in a store, you can gain app discoverability. So people who have never heard of your services can find your app on the store. That means new users. Yay! More money, catching. Okay. All right. So so you want to talk about the types?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I just wanted to further put some weight on the point that message extensions are really seamless UI experiences in Teams and Outlook, right? Like the way Tomomi was saying, they are my favorite kind of applications. If you're trying to build one application to extend Teams or Outlook, these are the ones that you should build, because for a user, they make so much sense. So just to demonstrate what we mean by the different types of message extensions available and how can you utilize them. I've put some screenshots. So message extensions predominantly, like Tomomi was covering in her previous slides, are either action based or search based. And when we say action based message extension, that just means that you are presenting a pop-up, a model pop-up to the users to either display some information or collect some information, and the user submits that form back, and now your service will respond to it by creating a message that the user can now have it available in their compose area, and can further either send it out into the Teams channel or chat or Outlook email. The second type of message extensions that Tomomi talked about is the search based. This is where the real power is. This with this, you are allowing your users to search an external system and bring those results into the Teams or the Outlook context that they are in a beautiful, richly formatted card or adaptive card. And the third form, search-based message extensions also extend into something called link unfurling, where when a user pastes a link, the system is invoked, and it invokes your web service, and it looks for a relevant information and then brings it into the user's compose message area so that they can just paste that link, and also give a good context in the form of a richly formatted card, which you're seeing in the GIF below. So yeah, we are excited for you to try it, and we will also show you one slide on how Adobe uses all of these to keep their users within the flow, like in the moment. Tomomi, let's roll to the next.
Yeah, that's quite useful features. All right.
Yep. So Adobe Acrobat is a third-party app partner that we have. They have really extensive applications built for their users, and you will see how they are doing it through various entry points. So, for example, the first entry point that they have is on the top. It's Share PDF as a tab. So applications are not just message extensions, right? They are static tabs. They are these dynamic tabs that you're seeing in this case. So yeah, they have utilized all of these endpoints. So you can see the entry point B, which is invoking message extension from the options menu of the message. You can see the entry point C, which is the invoking message extensions from the compose area of the message. D, which is to invoke message extensions from the left rail, and finally E, invoking message extensions from the command bar or the search bar. So this is an example of how you can take this functionality and make it your own. And I will hand it back over to Tomomi, who is going to actually run you through the code as to how you can build it for yourself. Yeah, take it over, Tomomi.
Okay. All right. So let's build your message extension app. So you get some options, and here's option one, easiest. Just clone from GitHub's code spaces. So the code spaces, I say clone. It's a little different because when you say git clone, you only clone the code, right? Just a sample code. That means you have to prepare for your environment, like a local environment. You have to set up. You have to get all the prerequisite and everything by yourself. That's a lot of work. But for the code spaces, you can just grab the whole bundle because it packaged up everything you need in one, and it's in the cloud hosted in a virtual machine. Just pull everything onto your desktop. So that's actually the easiest option. So if you want to try that, you can go to the docs, documentation at ak.ms. Link is there, and select here. Okay, let me see. Select one of those links. Like we have we have 3 examples, but for this case, it's a message and extension. And just scroll on the page and find this, GitHub Code Spaces button. Click this, and that's really cool. You should definitely try. But one thing, you have to have a Microsoft 365 developer account to begin. So that's the one prerequisite you need. But here, I want to show you more like a manual way. It's not very manual because we don't start from scratch. It begins with scaffolding. So let's do this. So in this case, I'm not going to talk about the entire prerequisite. You do need to set up your machine before, and please read the documentation to do that. But let's begin here.
So we will put all the useful links at the end, and we will give some time for you to get to them. But yes, you can hope that with the information that Tamomi is sharing, you should be able to build message extensions without any much effort.
Yeah, let's get started. So open up in VS Code, and if you already have a Teams toolkit, that's cool. But if you're not, just get extensions from here. So just search for Teams toolkit, and it's right there. And you should be able to install it. For me, it's already having installed, so it has uninstall button, but you get install button. So once you get it, just go to Teams Toolkit. You have some options here, but we're gonna create a new app here. Let's click the messaging extension. And then let's do the custom search result. Okay, right here. You can choose either. I pick JavaScript and default folder. That's good. You can pick that too. And I named this npm search. npm is a node package manager, I think. This is like a node package directly. They offer the API. So if you're a Node.js developer, you might be already familiar with this. So again, this app's gonna let the user search npm packages. So now it looks like a code gets scaffolded. So you see this README file here. That shows how the end results look like. So this is a search-based app. It's like this. So user can search a npm package or any packages. Yeah. So that's how it look like. And yeah, for the first time, yeah, I recommend to read this. Oh yeah, and this is for Outlook too. I'll show it to you. So let's take a look at a code. So index.js, importing all the packages you need. Restify is kind of like Express.js if you're more familiar with that. And they get so message extension is technically a bot for developers. I know it looks different, but when you code, it works kind of like a bot. So it's a bot framework. And we start the server here. That's why I say, kind of like Express.js, because Restify does that. And take a look at a Teams bot.js. So this is where we are calling this npm API. So this is the third-party API is available. So just calling. So this is API, HTTP GET. So user input as a query to get the result. And it's displaying the result in a pull down, and when it's clicked, it's on the card. So let's run this app on Teams. So you can sideload this app to the Teams from here in the menu, or press F5. Or another way to do is go to this debugger menu, and you can start from here as well. You can just pick. But I begin from and you need to log into your M365 account. If you haven't, you will be asked. All right, let's try that app. Debug on Teams. So this is gonna open up Edge browser. So right now the Teams toolkit does everything for you, registering your app to Azure AD and everything. Yeah, installing required packages. All right, sorry about this beeping noise. I should have disabled this. And you're probably asked to enter, the login. And then now the Teams client is loading on the browser. You can dismiss that. And you'll ask to add this app. This is the app you just pushed. So add it. And now it starts. And don't worry about this bot thing. This is something I ran previously. Oh yeah, so this is a search message extension. So you can just type some input, submit something, and this is a Microsoft open source directory here, npm package. So you can select adaptive cars. Now it's embedded in the body, I mean, the message body, so you can send it to. So this is how that works on Teams. Okay, let's run this on Outlook this time. Okay, it's basically the same thing. You just have to select Outlook from the menu. So doing all that checking, installing everything for you. And now it's open up in Outlook on a browser. So yeah, the UI is a little different, not little different, it's quite different on, on the Outlook compared with the Teams, but you can just compose a message. Then, okay, let me see. I'm gonna just resize this window so you can see. And on the top here, this is your app is added. So just click that and select the app. This might look different on you. Let me see. It depends on the setup. Anyway, so now, the message extension pops up, so you can just search. Well, I did the same thing. And select adaptive cars again. And now it's embedded in the email body. So you can send that to people. Okay. Sorry about this beeping noise. I'm going to just...
You're a busy bee.
I know. Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm going to just quit this. Okay. All right. Oh. All right. So of course, this is a hackathon. I'm just showing, right now I just showed you how to, grab the scaffolding and run the sample app on Teams and Outlook. But in the reality, of course, you have to write your own code, right? And you're not going to just submit the sample code. So I'm going to just quickly show you how to tweak this scaffold to create some different app. So this is something I did in really short amount of time, like in a few minutes. So it's not a whole lot, but all I did is, okay, oops, hold on a second.
No problem.
Yeah.
I think this would be more interesting because now this is how everyone can take that scaffold and make it their own.
Yeah. All right. Okay, now it's fine. Oops. All right. So let's go back to VS Code and select teamsbot.js. So this is where it is. So now you see here the handle Teams message and extension query. This is where user initiated and invoked from the user input, right? And called npm JS API and get the result and display in a card. And this is what that's been doing. But I'm going to just modify this block. So I'm going to just delete that and swap up with a different API. So I'm using, so this is a slightly simpler code now. It's not looping through. Just calling this GitHub API. So it only takes a username as a query and it shows some particular user data here. So I'm just only displaying user login name and when that user have created a GitHub account. Of course, you can do more things with API, but I'm just doing for an example. Yeah, and show the result in the card. So let's say 5 and push that to an Outlook. Okay, so you can compose new mail. So it's basically the same thing. And it selects that. And yeah, I didn't change the app name. App name is still saying NPM, but this is a GitHub search now. So this is my GitHub handle. And get the result. And you can click, you can display anything there. And then now it's embedded in the email body. Looks like I joined, the GitHub in 2009. That's a long time ago. I'm a long time user, right? All right. So, Okay. Uh, All right. So hopefully now you get some ideas about how you build and how you can tweak that sample code and create your own. So here's some use cases and ideas. So you can create something like task management. I know that's broad term. Task can be any task, right? But some task, and it could be some bug or incident report. So maybe you can, if somebody message, send a message on, let's say, Teams, you can grab the Teams message into some sort of your app and send it to your database or whatever. You can create some report like that, report system like that. And maybe if you're creating for your own internal team, you can have some internal directory search or quick lookup, kind of like a dictionary, maybe like a stock quote. Well, we already have a stock app, so you don't have to, but something similar to, or maybe store, factory, inventory, or something like a jargon definitions. Like if your company has a lot of jargons and acronym like us, that might be convenient. I know this is like internal things, but Microsoft has a lot of terms that I don't understand. And it could be some fun and social, like this illustration, like our, team award, kudos stickers, GIF stickers, and maybe something fun with generative AI might be some cool idea. And if you want to learn more, actually more really learn in depth about how to create, we have something called the App Camp. You can enroll, or you can just try on any chapters you want. Especially this chapter 5 has adding SSO to single sign-on to message extension and using graph as well. You're gonna learn more about a graph later. Oh yeah, and now, well, you can do everything. I mean, you can do whatever. It's just have wild imagination and hack on, but we want to show something new too. So you might not be able to use those features just yet, but I want to just show it to you. So we get a Copilot plugin. That's exciting. So this, I can say this is like a type of messaging extension, but the difference is the user interaction. So for the classic, I would say classic messaging extension, user can just click something like, invoke this from UI, right? But this is actually invoked from chat conversation. So you typed in something, ask bot about something, and that called API. So Copilot will call your API endpoints. So this case, you have to be really specific about API endpoint. You have to use, like Open API spec and all that. So it's a little bit different, but for users, end users, this is really just, interaction is different. And this is example. So just type the message and the Copilot gets something for you. You can watch it again. So yeah, so that's how the Copilot works. And if you would like an early access to this Copilot plugin, please go there and sign up for that. All right.
I will take over. It's actually amazing to me that you can use message extensions through natural language. Like just ask the system a question like you would your Siri or your other personal assistants, and like get the response in such a consumable, richly formatted card. It just blows my mind. Yeah, so these are some things that are not out there yet, but we are really excited. So we want you also to be excited. Another thing that's coming into this space quite soon, and if you attended any of our build sessions, you would have already come across these, is that so Tomomi showed you how to build search-based message extensions in both Teams and Outlook. The actions-based message extensions are coming to Outlook soon, and what's more, you can now build those action cards using adaptive cards, and they are going to be loop components. So they are going to be live and actionable, and you can bring that live and actionable data into your email or chat wherever your user is working. And we'll show a quick demo of what that means in the next slide. And let me set that context for you. So in this slide, there's someone from Contoso, a project manager called Adel, and she's trying to manage the projects for her team. And we are using Priority Matrix, a cool app partner that we have, a third party app partner just like you. And they have used this private preview features that we just talked about and built this for us end to end. And we want to show you how you can also utilize the actions message extensions in Outlook and also adaptive card based loop components. Yeah, Tomomi, roll the video.
Right. Hold on a second. Oops. Okay.
So she realizes, let's say that the date for a critical task is not set. So she takes the work item and she's calling upon her teammate Megan to update the task. And all she does is just take the link of the task and paste it inside an Outlook mail body. And you can see how the link unfurls into an adaptive card. And now, once Megan gets this mail, she just opens the mail and she still sees the same card that Adele has sent her, and she can update the information from inside the card. And now the card, because it's a loop component, it's live and everybody sees the same information. And now let's take it a little further. Now Megan takes this link and is asking her design team to provide an update on the progress made. And they see the same card with the new updated information of the deadline, and they further go ahead, and when they make some edits, that gets reflected everywhere.
It's pretty cool.
And yeah, I spoke a little too fast, I guess, but this is how it is. You are in email, you are in Teams, wherever your user is, everything is updated and live, and that's the power of this feature. And we can go to the next slide. Yeah, and I just want to cover some bases in case you have been building message extensions, specifically action-based message extensions on Teams already. You've done the hard part. Just to bring them to Outlook, to make it available to millions of users, all you have to do now is two things. First, update your manifest version to either 1.13 or higher. And second, add a Microsoft 365 channel into your Microsoft Azure portal. Just those two things. And now you have all your applications working on Outlook as well. And we can go to the next slide. Yeah, and so the action-based message extensions have been will be in private preview in Outlook in June at the end of this month, and you can sign up for the private preview on this ArcaMS link. We will pause here just so you can take a note.
Okay. Oh, maybe should. Hold on.
Yeah.
Everybody took note. I just waited. All right.
Yes, and so once you get your actions-based message extensions, if you also want them to be live and reactive by using loop components, the first thing that you need to do, and it's a really small change too, is to add metadata.web URL as a property to the adaptive card payload that you're sending out. And this feature, we can go to the next slide as well. And it has been in private preview since last build, and it will be in public preview at the end of June. So just keep a lookout for it, and you can build the cards just like Priority Matrix did. Yeah, that's about it. We can go to, oh yeah, this is a really important slide, so we will wait on it for a little bit. These are the resources that will help you get started and build apps in no time. Please take a note of them. Take a picture, however you store your information.
All right. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, and lastly, we would love to hear your feedback. Take a picture of scan the QR code or take a picture of the ArcaMS short link, and do let us know how you feel about these new features that we're building. And yeah, that's about it. We are at the end of our segment.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Tommy and Sai. It was so great to see this really exciting type of apps for teams. Like oftentimes when we talk about apps for teams, people think bots, and you will be able to type text and you will get some text back. But that's not the only way you can build apps for teams. I mean, we've just seen that. So we've just seen this really exciting and rich way to work with users, engage them, and then send back responses as adaptive cards or richer forms. And we've also seen it's not just in Teams, right? So we can also extend them to Outlook, and soon we will be able to do even more. So with that in mind, how about we take the next step and we see how you can tap from all the different types of apps that you can build in Microsoft Teams into the data and insights that you have stored in Microsoft 365 in work or at school. Let's take a look.
Every day, the people in your organization are hard at work, writing, presenting, meeting, assigning, completing, searching, sorting, solving, chatting, smiling, laughing, in their homes, at their desks, anywhere. They're doing it all in Microsoft 365. Using the familiar services they've known and loved, maybe all their lives, as well as new solutions for an ever-changing world. The data that describes all this activity, the teamwork, meetings, conversations, presentations, calendars, tasks, and more. The essence of your organization's work is the fabric of Microsoft Graph. Accessible to developers through a simple REST-based endpoint, and built with enterprise-grade security and scalability at its core, it's the API to your organization. With Microsoft Graph, developers around the world, working in any language, can build experiences that integrate seamlessly with an organization's unique patterns of productivity. And just as easily, bring information into the familiar surfaces of our own Microsoft 365 services to create applications that are more personal, more intelligent, more secure, more collaborative. Over 300 million users work with Microsoft Graph-powered apps, built by our partners and our customers, all to form a deeper connection with Microsoft 365. Microsoft Graph. Let your organization's data work for you.
Well, we are the Microsoft Graph team. We're so excited to be here today. Thanks, Aicha and Waldeck, for the opportunity to come and present today. So you guess why is there a giraffe in that live session? My name is Sebastian. I'm excited to host with Maisa. Hi, Maisa.
Hi, Sebastian.
I'm excited today to show you a little bit about what the Microsoft Graph can do for you and how it can boost user engagement in the apps that you're building in Teams. So, right, so Jess, let's go and introduce ourselves. Maisa, why don't you go first?
Sure. So, hello, everyone. My name is Maisa Risse. I'm based in São Paulo, Brazil. And I'm part of the Microsoft Graph Developer Experience team. And we are here to talk to you about what amazing things you can accomplish using Graph.
Absolutely. And I'm Sebastian. I'm a product manager here at Microsoft based out of Montreal. I'm leading our SDK effort and our client tooling effort that we have around Microsoft Graph. I'm going to talk to you about this today. But what if, Maisa, why don't you start with kind of going through what is the Microsoft Graph and why does it matter for people that are working in the enterprise and in the education space? Why does it matter to them?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So as Tomomi showed to you like a few minutes ago, you can use Teams toolkit to build applications. And she showed how to do it with the GitHub API, for example. But we have here also the Microsoft Graph, which is the gateway to data and intelligence in the Microsoft 365. So as you can imagine, there are many different teams here at Microsoft that are building the applications in the services that make the Microsoft M365 ecosystem. And in the past, we had several different APIs that you needed to use to call these services. And each one was different authentication, different shapes of the APIs, and all of that. So, well, you can imagine how difficult it was to handle with all of them, right? So that's why we now have Microsoft Graph. So you can use Microsoft Graph to build experience in our experience. So you can use our documents. You can use SharePoint sites to improve the search based on how you need to use, your company needs to use. Um, you can extend what we have already, or you can build your own experience. So you can build web applications, you can build bots and agents. So using Microsoft Toolkit, using Teams Toolkit in the Microsoft Teams to build bots. And you can use native applications. You can also do console applications and build reports and analytics. So you can do all of that using Microsoft Graph. And that's why we are here to show you a few ways to do it. So as I mentioned before, we do have the API, so the REST API that you can call and get the data that you need. We also have the Microsoft Graph connectors, which you can use to send data, to ingest data into Microsoft Graph, so you can combine both what we have and what you have in your company, in your school, and make these data work together to build your solution. And we also have the Microsoft Graph Data Connector to help you to get insights and build reports and see what you need to understand about your business, about the people that work in your company. So like you can do pretty much whatever you need to do using those components that we have here. And for example, we have popular data sets, right? Because we are talking about Microsoft. So everyone uses Microsoft products, right? So for example, you have mail. You need to get, I don't know, the recent emails that someone received, or you even want to see the last conversations, which people someone is talking to build insights on top of that to help and then to collaborate better. You have tasks, right? So we have Microsoft To Do that you can use to organize your workflow. We also have users, because you need to know sometimes with the people that someone is working with, which team they are part of. So we have so many different data here at Microsoft, right? Files, all the amazing Office files that we have, Word, Excel, PowerPoints, all of that, events in our calendars. And you may ask, is all that's all we have? And actually not. We have so much more. So we have several entities and endpoints and APIs that you can consume in Microsoft Graph, and you can use those to make even better applications and get even more data to make the life of the people using your application even easier in a daily basis. So we do have charts, we have contacts, we have notes, we have several different things, including teams, right? Because we do have APIs under Microsoft Teams to help you to get the data around someone's usage, right? So, and you might think, okay, that's super cool. So how can I use this? How can I make this part of my application? Is that hard? So the good news is we also do have, for example, SDKs to help you with that, right? So with the APIs, of course, you can call like some examples that we have here in the screen. So find all events in the Outlook. So you have the HTTP call that you need to do to endpoint. And as you can see, graph.microsoft.com, that's the Microsoft Graph API. You can send email to managers. You can get list of all the conference rooms in your building and many, many, many different things, right? So to help you with that, we do have, for example, the SDKs. And we do support several languages. As you can see, we have all of them here in this slide. So we have Java, we have C#, JavaScript, Go, PHP, Python, CLI, PowerShell. And we are also working to onboard even more different languages. So you can choose the language that you feel comfortable with, and you can use to call Microsoft Graph. And the SDKs, they are designed to simplify building these high quality, efficient, and resilient applications. So all SDKs are available in popular platform package managers. So you can go there, you can take dependence on our package. The libraries contain several different things to help you handle with common tasks like upload large files. We have retries and redirects to help you with that, so you don't need to do by yourself. So we have these several things part of the SDK, and we also have this Fluent API style that is on screen right now that you can use to call all these endpoints. So, for example, to get the events, here we are using a C#.NET example, but you will see that no matter which language that you're using, the Fluent API is consistent. Of course, we do take advantage of each language and what they offer, but you will see that they are pretty similar to each other to simplify everyone that is building applications with Microsoft Graph. So here you see that we are using the Graph client, .me, .events, get sync to get all the events, or .me, .sendmail, .post async with a body to post an email to send to someone. So you are going to see that this Fluent API is consistent and pretty similar across languages, and that you can take advantage of those to building your application. And I'm thinking right now, maybe Seb can help us and show an even easier way to use a Microsoft Graph and some of the developer experiences that we have here to help you build your team's application.
Absolutely. Thanks, Maisa. So when we think about building an app, I think building an app through our SDKs to really simplify your life, bring authentication, connect to the services in a very, very efficient way is the best way to do it. But sometimes you want to go even like you want to be like me. I'm a very lazy developer and I want to reuse what's already available out there to build my experiences. And when we think about web experiences, there are capabilities that we think that should be there all the time, that we should just bring into our app and we don't have to rebuild them. And that's why we built something called the Microsoft Graph Toolkit. The toolkit is a set of components that are built on web standards that are automatically authenticated using Microsoft Graph and deliver the value of Graph, meaning connecting tapping into your insights and your data in your Microsoft 365 tenant, but with a nice UI that can be embedded in any type of experiences, including the Teams toolkit. So that's what I want to show today, how we can bring an app to be simple, grow it, maybe build a web application, and then finally maybe making it part of Microsoft Teams. So let's go. We're going to come back to the getting started a little bit later, but let me do this, let me do that, and let's go right here. Where, let me just, that's great when the username comes in. So let's start with VS Code. Here we have VS Code. VS Code is there. I have the Teams Toolkit installed. And I want to show you how to create a new app using the Teams Toolkit. And that's something you've probably already have seen. If not, it's a great experience. You install a Teams Toolkit, you create a tab. I'm selecting a React tab with Fluent UI, where I'm going to create it using TypeScript, which is my favorite programming language. You can use JavaScript if you want to. Here, I'm just going to use my default folder. I'm going to have call it Hackathon. Now I'm just going to hit enter. It's going to create a fully working solution for me that has all what's necessary to build a tab that looks like this here. So the point that I want to make here is that it's super easy to get an app inside Microsoft Teams, but it's also extremely easy to have it connected to Microsoft 365 via the Microsoft Graph. So let me show you what is currently running on my machine. Here I have the exact same app. I just hit F5. It automatically logged me in, deployed it to my tenant, and now I have my app running right here. One of the things that this app does is it automatically gets the information about the current user via the Teams SDK. So the Teams SDK provide a very minimal set of information about the connected user. But if you want to go deeper, if you want to learn about their files, if you want to learn about their manager, if you want to learn about anything that is around that user, you're going to need to go through the Microsoft Graph. And we have the entire way of doing it. So interestingly enough, the Teams Effects or the Teams Toolkit provides some of these capabilities, either by using our SDK, like you can see here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. It's a little bit small. So here you can have a very easy way to connect and build an app using the Fluent UI components to build a nice card with my name, my email address, and my phone number. Or it can even be simpler by going and simply just creating a provider here and having a rich experience of a card that is a card that you are used to see in a lot of the experiences that Microsoft 365 provides. This is amazing because you don't have to think about how will I authenticate to the graph? How will I create some code? No, it's already there for you. So the Teams Toolkit is already integrated with the Microsoft Graph Toolkit that allows you to connect both the UI and graph together in one single pass. So that's really, really cool. Now, if I want to see the same thing, but potentially bring that to another level, seeing a card of somebody is great, but I think we really want to be a little bit, we want to think about these scenarios further. So let me go back here and show you an example of an app that I have here. So this is an app that is called the Contoso Dashboard, which I am logged in. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm logged in here. You see I have a login button right there on top. I have my user. I'm already logged in using the Graph Toolkit. And here I have a list of tasks. Those are all different components delivered by a toolkit. So think about, oh, maybe I just want to have a task list so I can add new tasks while I'm in the context of another app. I might be in my service ticket app, and I want to be able to click to check tasks or to add new tasks to make sure that I get these things done. Maybe I want to see some of my emails or my events that are coming up in a single dashboard view. And maybe I want to see more about Lee here and see all the different capabilities that connect me and Lee. See all the organization, see the emails I shared with Lee in the past, and see more info directly about Lee. Maybe I want to see files, my own files. Here, these are the files that are in my uh, OneDrive, where I can go from one folders to the next, so I can really have a great experience navigating the files that lives anywhere in Microsoft 365. Also, something I want to do is, uh, what are the recent files that I clicked on? You know, when you click on thousands of files every day. I click on thousands of files every day. Which one was the last one I clicked on? We have capabilities to show you insights-driven files that are infused with signals around people that are clicking around. And for example, here I have all the latest files that I've been either modifying, viewing, sharing with other folks. So lots of really interesting capabilities. When we think about Teams, why don't we connect this with Teams directly? Hey, here I have all of the teams I'm a part of, and I want to see the files that are stored in the general channel. Well, these are also capabilities that the Graph Toolkit are bringing in. So think about scenarios where you can bring a web app to connect to Microsoft Graph, but also to team-specific APIs to really bring context inside their app. Um, Search. If I'm here and I search for Contoso, what should we expect here? Well, we should be expecting search results. We have a great API on Graph to search across tons and tons of different entities we have, including messages, chat messages, files, sites, lists, Q&As, bookmarks, and so on and so forth. So now you have the ability to see all of these great results as part of this. So you can bring that in your app and build, for example, a search-driven capability directly using all the relevancy that exists on Microsoft Graph. So these are the things that I wanted to highlight today using the Graph Toolkit. Building this is literally just dragging on the screen a very simple component like we have here. So if I go back to my code that I used earlier, the only thing that I need to do here is to drop that person card in either React, in this case, it's React, but it could be with Angular, it could be with just plain HTML. We support a series of different frameworks to make sure that you are successful in your context. We want to meet you where you are, like our SDKs that we target a bunch of different languages. Same thing for the toolkit. You drop it in there, and you are good to go. That is great, right? But I said also earlier, like, okay, maybe this is also something that I want to use inside Microsoft Teams. Well, why not just have the exact same app running as part of Microsoft Teams as a Teams FX app that is fully integrated, fully authenticated, exactly the same way I showed 2 minutes ago. So think about how successful you can be by building tabs and apps and console apps connecting with our SDKs. That's really the best thing you can do. Now, before I head it off to Waldeck, a couple of getting started, go to graph.microsoft.com, subscribe to the M365 Dev program to get your own Microsoft 365 tenant so you can play with our stuff, go through our Graph tutorials, browse our code samples, and deploy your first app. And here's all the different links to get you started. Hope you enjoy Graph. Hope you're going to have amazing fun with building with apps, but also hope that you love the different tooling that we offer you. So cool. Thanks, everybody. Hey, Waldeck.
Thank you,
Hello.
Seb. Thank you, Hazel. That was so cool. It's always like, when we talk about like how you can build apps that connect to Microsoft 365. It's always like auth and it's hard. It's like no. Like with MGT, you just drop a component and you've got a full app with just a few lines of code. Like it never gets old.
Yes.
You're absolutely right.
My favorite. Awesome. So we have 1 minute left and we want to talk about upcoming live sessions. We are done for this week, but if you have any questions, we are always at the GitHub discussions. Visit our GitHub repository and then you can ask all of your questions in the discussions. We have 2 more sessions coming up next week. The first one is Ask the Experts. We will have all the engineering teams and experts joining us. You can ask all of your burning questions to them, and they will answer the questions right at the live session. And the last one is unfortunately wrapping up the challenge, wrapping up the hackathon, and we will talk about the community more and what are the next steps. So what's coming up next week? First things first. Well, Deck.
Exactly. As you said, we are going to bring product groups. These are engineers and PMs who build products that you develop on every day. Bring whatever questions you have. Bring your colleagues, bring your peers, bring your customers. This is the opportunity for you to ask anything and everything you would like to know about building apps for teams and get the answers live. So definitely add it to calendar, mark the calendar, pencil it in, and be there because it's really, really cool chance for you to meet these folks.
Exactly. And that's all from us in the live sessions for this week, but we will see you at the same time on Monday. Thanks everyone for joining. Bye.
Thank you.